Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Bobby Hams here with my review of Way Back, starring Ben Affleck. In the movie, Ben Affleck plays former high school basketball phenom Jack Cunningham, and he is going through some tough times in his life. He's drinking quite a bit. He's a bit of an alcoholic, and the movie spends about 10 minutes or so in the beginning to try to highlight that he definitely has a major drinking problem. So the movie has Jack kind of going through the motions in life. He goes to work, he has a drink hidden in his thermos at work, so he's drinking on the job, and then once he's done off work, he goes to a bar, drinks at that bar until he can barely stand. And then he goes home, goes to sleep, gets up in the morning, drinks some more. And so that's kind of like his everyday routine. And so it seems kind of like a bleak existence for him, honestly. I felt bad for him in the beginning right there. And so out of the blue, Jack gets offered this coaching job for his high school that he used to play on, to further impress upon the audience just how much of an alcoholic that Jack is. Even while he's rehearsing his sort of declination to the offer to the father, by the way, he's drinking. He's got some beers in the fridge. He's got some beers in the freezer. He drinks what looks like a 24-pack during this whole time. And that whole little sequence right there was kind of interesting to see, because he starts out declining the offer in a very understandable way. He kind of gives these vague reasons that he's busy and he's got a lot going on in his life. But as he drinks more and more, you can see that his reasoning for declining the job, they're all bullshit. Now, obviously, of course, he does take the job and he becomes the basketball coach for this high school team, or else it wouldn't be a movie. And so this team that he's coaching, they're individual players. Some of them have some talent, but as a team, they're not very good together. They don't really gel all that well. And so they start off with losing streak, right? But as Jack becomes a little bit more comfortable in dealing with them, and he cuts back on the drinking actually at that moment, and his approach to motivating them is a bit more unconventional. Unconventional by the Catholic Church means, because he swears quite a bit and he's very aggressive. But it works because the team's record turns around and they win more than they lose. So up to that point, the movie was kind of following the same trajectory that a lot of these inspirational sports movies tend to follow. The down and out coach, down and out team, and the coach shows up. They don't get along. There's a lot of friction amongst the players themselves and amongst the coach, and someone's getting thrown off the team, and there's an argument, and there's another rival team that's headed by some asshole coach who's used to winning all the time. So the Way Back was kind of following that same roadmap, and so Jack was getting better also during the whole thing. And I kept on kind of wondering when the second act backslide is going to happen, because most movies, like I was just saying, they start out with your protagonist going up like this, right? They go up and then they hit and this is like the first act, right? But then they hit some kind of adversity and they go down and they're low and they're dealing with trauma or whatever, and then they eventually go back up, and that's where the movie ends, on a high note, literally. So as the team is improving its record, Jack himself is improving his drinking problem. It's kind of subsiding for a little bit, right? So the team is getting better and Jack's drinking is decreasing. But then towards the second act of the movie, Jack is faced with an event that directly relates to the reason why he's drinking, because anyone who's dealt with someone close to them, family member or close friend or something like that has dealt with an addiction, drinking, drugs, otherwise, they know that addiction stems from some sort of trauma that person experienced at some time in their life. In The Way Back, Jack is faced with that possibility of that trauma again, and I was expecting him to start backsliding and start drinking again because of that one moment, but it never came. The movie kind of just kept on going on this merry way, and the team was getting better. They were still winning games, and then Jack wasn't drinking anymore. They didn't show him drinking as much on screen. The movie kept on going along, and I was like, that's kind of different. All right, so I guess he's not gonna backslide at all. So the team beats their main rival, and the movie keeps on going the same route that other movies like this have been going. The crowd goes crazy, cheerleaders are dancing everywhere, the whole floor gets rushed, people are going nuts, and the victorious coach walks off the court by himself, silently, and the music fanfare is all over the place. It's very emotional, and then it fades to black on the coach. And I figured that's where the movie was going to end, because it legit looked like that's where it was going to end. But then it still had like half an hour to go. So then I was like, okay, well, that's different also. That's new. All right. So the movie goes on from there, and that's when the backslide that I was expecting in the second act actually takes place in the third act of the movie, which was a complete shocker to me. And that really just drew me back into the film, because I thought it was going to end one way, but now clearly was not going to end that one way. And it's within that half hour, that final act, that the movie actually had Jack face like the actual event that triggered his alcoholism to begin with. And the movie, in that sense, the movie does not have a traditional happy ending. However, it does have a happy ending. The Way Back is a very small and personal movie, and Ben Affleck, I mean, there are other people starring in this thing, but Ben Affleck carries the whole thing by himself. His portrayal of Jack Cunningham's struggles with alcoholism and with the thing that triggered his alcoholism, and then him dealing with the world around him, it's done just so very well. Because in The Way Back, Ben Affleck made me depressed, he made me root for him, he made me pity him, and then he made me proud of him. Like, that's how well this movie was. It's a roller coaster ride of just like, oh wow, there's a lot going on here. It's not, like I said, it's not a loud bang bang shoot 'em up kind of movie, and it's not overly sappy and sad, but it does examine one aspect of human life. But it also isn't preachy about, you know, trying to blame the victim of addiction. It doesn't blame them. So that was really, it's really poignant that the movie did that. I mean, you see like his previous work in something like Gigli or Reindeer Games way back when, you know, and I'd have never thought that that guy would become this guy. Go check out The Way Back. Like I said, it's a smaller film, quieter, but it has a ton of emotion in it. And it's just, I think it was released this time of year to be an Oscar contender. I'm not sure. I don't know when the Oscar season stuff starts, but this would, I think, put Ben Affleck in the running for best lead actor or best actor for an Oscar. It's just that powerful. His performance is that good. So that's gonna do it for me. Thanks a lot for watching. Like and subscribe if you like to like and subscribe to things. And I'll see you in the next video when I shoot the J and win the game in 3, 2.